Hello, everybody. I'm here. Happy Thursday. I am sorry that I'm running late. My computer was refusing to cooperate, and I had to shut down and do some updates and stuff like that before it would let me in. But anyway, it's time. I'm Pia from Stitches and Scraps, and this is Lunchtime Live episode 122 with a little bit of a rough start. But we're here now. Okay, so for those of you who are new here, Lunchtime Live is my video newsletter. So I'll be telling you everything that's new at Stitches and Scraps, everything I'm planning for next week, all that kind of stuff. And then we end every episode with a special feature. So our first week of the month, we did a product of the month. Our second week of the month, we did a charity of the month. Now this week, I'm doing a patterns of the month with one knit and one crochet pattern that I'm going to give you a coupon code for so you can get them for free in my Ravelry store. But that'll come at the end of the video. But let's get started first with what's new on Stitches and Scraps. Now, as I show you stuff and tell you stuff, and I want to check that, are we unlisted here? Nope, it's public. Okay. Sorry, just making sure with everything going wrong earlier that we're still on the air. Okay, so as I tell you stuff, if you look in the description on the video, you'll see a link to a blog post. And in that blog post, I've listed everything we're talking about today. So all the links to the tutorials and the patterns and all the things I'm telling you about, to the Ravelry store, all of that, those links are all listed there in that post. So you can easily find anything that we're talking about. Good morning, Mary. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad I made it today. So without further ado, let's jump into what I did this week on Stitches and Scraps. So the first thing we have is the Cherry Blossom Beret. This is the actual beret. This is the inside of it, and then this is the outside of it with the pretty cherry blossom. This beret was made using our product of the month, which is the Cherry Blossom Sock Yarn from Global Backyard Industries. So this is an 85% merino, 15% nylon yarn that is hand dyed in this pretty pink colorway here. And I used about a little more than half of it, I would say, to make this beret. And the beret pattern itself comes in 4 sizes: toddler, child, small, and large. So you can make it pretty much for everybody. I think it fits head sizes between like 16 and 24 inches. I know the inside actually looks really small when you do that last round, but that stretches a whole lot, and that's actually really comfortable on my head. So I don't know, but you can, if you like a tighter fit or a looser fit, you can, basically it's just decreases at the end there, so you can decrease less or decrease more if you want a slightly tighter fit or a slightly looser fit. But I did set it up for 4 different sizes, so you can even mix and match the decreases if you want to. Along with the pattern, I have a tutorial for just the center circle. Let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit here. Okay, so this is just the center circle that makes the top of this hat. You can make this circle for the hat, or you can make it all by itself. It's a great standalone pattern if you want like a doily or anything else that you want to start with a circle and do other stuff. Like there's lots of blanket squares that start with circles and then go into squares, that kind of thing. You can use this circle anywhere that you want to circle. Good morning, Beth. It's good to see you. So that tutorial is up, and in the tutorial, I've actually worked along with the chart because I drew a chart for that section. So you can actually follow along with the chart, and somebody commented that it was a great tutorial for the pattern, but they didn't need the tutorial for the pattern so much. But it was also a great tutorial for learning how to read a chart, and that's what they got out of it. So yeah, it does follow along with the chart, so you can kind of get some practice on reading the charts and comparing it to the written instructions as you go with the tutorial for this. So that is the new pattern that's up on the blog this month, and new tutorial. Coming up for next month, and I didn't bring it downstairs to show you, I'm going to have a pet blanket that, and this is sad for me because I was making this for Millie and she passed away. But we will eventually have another dog, and so this will become their first blanket. It's a pet blanket that is made out of Karen 1 pound yarn. And it's kind of it's a squishy but solid stitch pattern. So it's not like hard or stiff, but it doesn't have holes. It doesn't have anything that's gonna, any big loops or anything that's gonna catch on nails if a dog is scratching at it. And it's also solid enough to keep like the hair off your couch. So I thought this stitch pattern was great for pets, but you can definitely use the same blanket, and I'll give multiple sizes in the pattern. You can definitely use the same blanket as just a throw or lap blanket as well. So that'll come out next week. That is part of the CAL Central Cozy at Home Cal. Beth, you didn't know? I thought I had told you. I must not have. I thought I mentioned to the guild, but on Christmas morning, actually, Millie passed away. She had an injury before we got her, and it turns out she ended up getting a diaphragmatic hernia that basically stuff went through a hole in her diaphragm that shouldn't have gone through into her chest. And that hole was probably caused by the trauma from before we got her, but it was so small we never saw it until all of a sudden it became critical. And then she had surgery and she passed away Christmas morning from a blood clot. So maybe I haven't talked to everybody about it, but I've probably been a bit quiet since then. But yeah, so she's gone, but we will at some point eventually maybe get another dog. I'm not ready yet, but anyway, I don't want to make everybody sad, but that is that was who the pet blanket was supposed to be for, and now it will be for another dog at some point, or maybe I'll donate it to a shelter. But that pattern is coming out next week. It uses extended half double crochet stitches, which are abbreviated EHDC. It's kind of a cross, like halfway between a half double crochet and a double crochet. And so that I'll have a tutorial for that come out as well when the pattern comes out. So that's for next week. And then next week's demo for Lunchtime Live, next week I'm going to do an actual demo because I didn't want to get away from those entirely. So next week I'll be doing a demo, and I will be demoing the extended half double crochet for you. So that's what's coming up all of next week. Let me see if I've got anything else on my list. Nope. So that is all of that. Now let's get into the stuff that you really want to know, the coupon code, the featured products, featured patterns of the month for January. So the way I see this working is I'm going to share a couple of patterns, one knit, one crochet at the end of the or on the third week of the month, and give you guys a coupon code so that you can get both of the patterns, either of the patterns, but these two patterns for free on Ravelry with this coupon code through the end of the month. And I'm doing one knit and one crochet because I know some of you crochet and some of you knit, but if you do both, you can get both patterns. So first, let me show you the patterns, then I'll show you the coupon code. The knit pattern is this one, which is called Cobblestone Lane, which I stole out of my husband's closet because I had given it to him when I first made it. And it looks cabled, right? It looks like those are cables. Those are not cables. They're actually very easy diagonal ribbing that gives it kind of that twisted look. But all of this is just knit and purl stitches. There's nothing fancy in this. So it's really easy to do, and it's made in a bulky weight yarn, so it also works up really quickly. And there's a reason I'm telling you that. The other pattern I don't have anymore because I actually donated it when I made it. If you remember back in July when we had the Crochet Guild of America Chain Link Conference, we did a drive for scarves to donate to a veterans museum that was near, or a veterans facility, something like that, that was near the conference center. So I actually donated this scarf for that drive. And so I don't have it anymore to show you, but I can show you the picture. This is the layered shells scarf. And what this is, you'll see that there's blues and there's grays. Well, the blue yarn is actually a variegated yarn that I used that went from like blue to gray in different shades, right? And then I had a solid gray yarn that I used along with it. So this one uses 2 separate skeins of yarn at the same time. One I used was variegated and one I used was solid, but it's a stash buster project. You can play around with whatever yarns you have at home, right? It uses worsted weight yarn, and you can use just anything you want and play around with different color combinations. And because it is 2 skeins at a time, that makes it a super bulky or a bulky yarn. So it's actually really easy and fast to make as well. And that one has nothing complicated in the stitch pattern either. So why am I telling you that about both of these scarves? Because these scarves would be amazing charity projects. They would be great to donate to any charity, but specifically our charity of the month, which is Warm Up America, these scarves would be great for that. So I kind of wanted to tie it all together. Our patterns of the month would be great for our charity of the month, which is Warm Up America. And I have links if you want to know more about our charity of the month, or if you want the coupon code deal for the yarn of the month before that one goes away. I've got links to that in that blog post as well. So you can save money on this yarn if you want it, and you can find out all about Warm Up America. And you can get those 2 patterns I just showed you for free on my Ravelry store with this coupon code. So through the end of the month, so it ends, I'm in Central Time, so it ends at 11:59 p.m. on Central Time on January 31st. So through the end of the month, you can get either of those 2 scarves I showed you, the layered shells scarf pattern, which is crochet, or the cobblestone lane pattern, which is knit. You can get either of those for free in my Ravelry store using this code LLJAN23. Lunchtime Live, January 2023. So LLJAN23. I'll leave this up for a few minutes so that you guys can all see it. But the link to the patterns in the Ravelry store, so you can go directly to the pattern, those links are in the blog post that's in the description. So you can find the patterns there. You can also just go to my Ravelry store and find the patterns there. This code is only good on those 2 patterns. It's only good until the end of January, but you can use it for both patterns or either pattern. And you can use it multiple times. So if you get one of the patterns and then you're like, oh, I wish I'd gotten both, go back and get the second one. There's no restriction on how often it can be used or anything like that. So check that out. The code again, last time is capital L, capital J for January. So capital J, lowercase a, lowercase n, 23. I'm not sure if the capitalization matters, but just in case it does, that's the way I typed it in. Make sure, just like with every coupon code I do, please make sure that that the discount shows in your cart before you actually pay and finish checking out. It should show in that final confirmation screen on your cart. If it doesn't, that means something went wrong. So message me before you finish checking out, email me, whatever. I can't refund it once it's been checked out because digital patterns can't be returned. And also because as soon as you check out, there's fees that I have to pay. So I would actually be paying you money to get the patterns if I refunded a free coupon. Okay, so that is our featured product of the month, or featured patterns of the month. Okay, so recap. Our featured product of the month is Cherry Blossom Sock Yarn from Global Backyard Industries. And there is a coupon code available for that. That is in Lunchtime Live episode 120, which all of these links, again, are in that blog post. Our featured charity of the month is Warm Up America. You can learn about that in Lunchtime Live episode 121. And our featured patterns of the month are the 2 scarves that I showed you, which are this episode, and which would be great to donate to that charity. So next week, I will see all of you and we will do the extended half double crochet stitch together, and that will wrap up January for Lunchtime Live. So thank you for joining me. I hope to see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.